Hi, this is Kylie Koo. Welcome to my studio and welcome to week 7 of creating a positivity deck. So how did you find looking at self-love and self-care? I know I found both a little bit more difficult than the earlier weeks, but I did feel I was able to bring out some positive points that I was able to get over and into my positivity cards. And I found it rewarding because I realised that there were some things about myself that perhaps I hadn't thought about before. And I certainly intend to continue to look at these for myself in more detail in the coming weeks and months. And I hope you were able to find positive messages for yourself and imbue them into your cards. So introspection can be both difficult and rewarding, and as we continue to work through different aspects in the slowdown state of being, I want this week to introduce the word sanctuary. Most of us at times will need sanctuary, however we define that, whether it's finding refuge, perhaps getting away from everyday stuff, or whether it's a part of our regular self-care routine. Some of us might describe it as our haven. For me, sanctuary can be about place, such as home, my garden, the landscape that surrounds me. It can be about a space, sometimes my studio, although that doesn't always feel like sanctuary because it's sometimes in a state. But then I have my little stones around me that give that sense of sanctuary for me. And sometimes it can be a space in another building. Or it can be a place created in my mind but kept in my heart. This place I can access no matter where I am. So if, for example, I'm on a busy train or I'm in a busy place and I feel the need for sanctuary, then I find that place in my mind and in my heart, and I often close my eyes to find it. So today, I invite you to think about your place of sanctuary and how you feel when you are there. Write about it in your journal if you want, and then once more, try and imbue the positive feelings into your positivity card. And the other thing that I keep in mind is that this very act of sitting, thinking, and sitting creating this card within my positivity deck is actually also part of my sanctuary. My art is sometimes my sanctuary. So in a moment, once I've finished journaling, I'll then clear my things away and I'll start to work on my card. So I'm going to prepare my card just by putting on a very thin coat of clear gesso. Once done, I set it off to the side to dry, and then I pull out these little copies of my own photographs. I'd printed these off a week or so ago and remembered about them when I was thinking about what sanctuary meant to me. So I pulled them out again, and now I'm just going to cut a few of them out because I'm going to use these as the background for my card. So now that I've got them, I'm just going to put them against the card just to see which ones I want to place and where. So there's a stone, there's trees, there was a sunset, an image from my garden, one of the sky, another one from my garden, and I'm just going to look at where I might place these. I don't rush this because for me these images are part of the positive thoughts I had about my sanctuary. So I'm not going to rush it, I'm just going to sit and think about them and where they might be placed. And as I was working away, the sun came out. It was streaming through the windows. And I was thoroughly enjoying just that feeling of the sun and its light. So I'm taking some fluid matte medium and I'm just going to put these into place on the card. Now it does get quite bright with the sunshine, and in a moment, because it was casting so many shadows, I do actually close a curtain just so that it's not quite so bright. Now these images were made on an inkjet printer, and I did know that a little bit of the colour would likely lift up from them. But as always, that didn't concern me because these are just forming a part of the background, and I knew that to a large extent they would be covered up. Once the images are all in place, I go over the top just with the fluid matte medium. This will just help seal them in. Being very gentle because I don't want to tear the paper if possible. So once it's all dry, I then cut around the edges just to take off the overhang of paper. I then take some white acrylic. What I want to do is to knock the images into the background a little bit. And I also have in my mind that I want to create almost a type of dreamy effect. Because although most of these images are of obviously physical places or spaces, I'm thinking here about what it is I see in my mind's eye when I go into that kind of inner sanctuary, when I need to find it within me rather than the place that I'm in. So just trying to create a slightly dreamy effect. I then take a moment just to look at my card and think about what next. And I reach for a pencil, just a sketching pencil, and start to draw in a head, an upper body. And I'm now going to start to colour the head and body in just with some acrylic paint, though I put it on in a very thin layer. Although covering up the background a little, I still want to be able to see some of it through the body. I take my pencil again just to sketch around the edges. And then start to add in here. I then add eyes, because I'm reminded that I journaled about closing my eyes to be able to go to my place of sanctuary in my mind and in my heart. I'm now taking some colour and I'm just going to add a little bit to the hair and to the body. Adding some water to it because I don't want it to be too thick. And quite by accident my brush is kind of splayed out, but I like the effect that that's creating. I decide that actually I want the outline to be a little bit darker. So I use this Pigma pen just again to go around the outline in a kind of sketchy fashion. I add just a little bit more of the colour. In many ways I could have sat and played with this for hours. But there came a point where I thought, no, that's it. I'm happy with it as is. So just rubbing a little more of the white acrylic paint along the top, because that's where I'm going to write my word. And so I write Sanctuary across the top. I draw a very rough border around the edge. Sometimes putting a border around something can just help me feel that it's finished. And I take one more look at the card before going back to sit with it for a moment and look again at my journal page. So I hope you enjoy looking at this week's word, sanctuary, with me. I hope you will join me again next week, and meantime, I thank you for watching. Bye for now.